How's everybody? Dr. Katka here for our Medical Monday. Today during the sunset, which is beautiful, we are going to talk about the heart. I have a talk I did so many years ago. I don't even remember. It's definitely over 10 years ago. It was one of my first talk series that I ever put out there. We used to call it the energy of illness, and now with everything that I know and I have learned, the name of the series is the energy of healing. And the heart talk was literally one of my favorites. It was one of my best one. I don't even know where it came from, but at the end of it I thought, oh my gosh, this was perfect, because I go in there. So if there's any heart concern, anything you or your loved one or your friends need to know about the heart, please go to that talk. I have a link in a previous spot, and I'll put also a link with this video. But oh my goodness, there's so many ways to look at the heart. There is, the sun, the actual heart being this powerful electromagnetic field. We are electromagnetic beings first, and then we're matter, and the heart is just such a picture of that, because electromagnetically it's 60 times stronger in the electric aspect than the brain, and it's 5,000 times stronger in the magnetic space, stronger than the brain. So that goes to show us that really is the heart that starts the conversation, quote unquote, with our mind and with the rest of our bodies. It's the heart that perceives. It's the heart that is the soul of our intuition. So while we want to take care of the body as a whole, yes, the sky as a whole, the sun, the heart is going to be one of the key pieces. There's organs that we have managed in our world to kind of discard of without really looking back, such as appendix, such as the uterus and the ovaries, such as the spleen during traumatic accidents. What else? The thyroid, we have very strongly to go on that we can just kill it with radiation. The parathyroid, you name it. What other organs have we? Lots of the small intestine we have learned to cut out, the stomach, the large intestine, usually for a good reason in our medical world. However, the heart and the brain, of course, those two are we cannot replace those. We cannot replace those. Why do I say that? Even with heart transplant, as you know, the memory of the heart comes with the heart into the person who is receiving the heart. So that tells us there's so much more to the heart than it just being a physical organ. And thus, I believe it is important for us to treat it as that. As yes, this is a physical organ that we want to take a super special care of. And it is also this electromagnetic organ that has memory. That's the soul of our intuition. And that by us aligning with its frequency of love, compassion, gratitude, we can not only change the space and the people around us, we actually allow for the healing for ourselves. Remember, stress. Stress has been taught and studied to be, cause of 90% of our physical illness. I feel there's more to that than that, but the stress of our organism is huge, and the stress of the emotional turmoil and worry and anxiety and fear, it shuts down this flow of our heart. It creates physiological reaction in our heart, where our adrenaline is asking the heart to pump faster, and without breaks. I mean, the heart is meant to do that. Think about it, you know, in that talk that I hope you'll get to listen to, my talk on the heart that I just mentioned. By the time we are born, our heart already has pumped about 54 million times. By the time we are born, right? And by the time we leave this beautiful planet into the next life, hopefully, it has beaten about 3.2 billion times or so on average without stopping. So the heart is always there beating, and we have a say-so how these beats happen. What I mean by that is how we feed the heart physically matters, and how we feed the heart emotionally also matters. So let's talk about the physical, because that's probably why you came here. Physical support of the heart. So first of all, we don't have enough time to go into all of it like I did in the talk that I mentioned, but just to kind of acknowledge, in our world of medicine as of right now, we have been taught the heart is an organ. We go to see the cardiologist, it's disconnected from the whole. If something happens, we have chest pain, palpitations, high blood pressure, we need to take care of the heart. We need to be put on medication, we need to bring the blood pressure down, we need to lower the cholesterol, we need to do, you name it. I have seen things happen differently, and I have seen the heart being supported differently, very successfully, where we're not suppressing the high blood pressure. We look underneath and see, why is there high blood pressure? Why is the body driving the pressure to be higher? Is it because it needs more pressure in the brain? Is it because it needs more pressure in the kidneys, more pressure in the heart? So we look at the high blood pressure and we help the body bring it down naturally. The easiest thing is magnesium. You know, we're being taught in our world to take all this calcium, especially for women, 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. Ooh, that's a lot considering we have so much calcium in a lot of our foods. What we are not told about, we need to bring in the magnesium, we need to bring in the potassium, those essential minerals to help to offset all the calcium, and or take a break on the calcium and just bring in the magnesium. It will help with the pump, with the calcium, magnesium pump, and it will actually bring the blood pressure down. One of the easiest things to do. Number two, we gotta support the gallbladder and the liver. If there is, God forbid, a surgery where the gallbladder, which is another one of those organs that we have kind of learned that it's okay to take out, if it has been operated and taken out, that can cause high blood pressure. We talked about that. So we bring in some bile salts, we bring in some gallbladder pathway support to bring the blood pressure down. We support the kidneys, we help the heart that way. Cholesterol, that's a whole talk in and of itself, and I'm going to do that separately, but let's not get sidetracked into cholesterol is the bad guy and I must bring the cholesterol down in order to have a good heart health. That is quite not the truth. The cholesterol has been looked at as a bad guy, even though it's the number one builder of our cells. Every cell has a cholesterol lipid bilayer, including the brain, which is one organ that cannot actually create cholesterol in the body, so it suffers quite a bit when we are put on cholesterol medicine. I'm not even going to go into that Lipitor industry and cholesterol medication industry being one of the top selling medications on the planet right now, besides aspirin, right? Which again is the same thing. If I have had any clotting issues, I must be on aspirin. Well, how about looking again underneath, where what do we need to do in the endothelium, the actually blood vessels, to allow for a good flow, right? The spasm that creates the contraction and then the release, the contraction and the release. We need to have a clean epithelium. In our world, there's so much inflammation that the epithelium gets inflamed. And that's what starts the problem. That's where the breakdown happens. And then this poor guy cholesterol is just, you know, driving by in its little car, a lipid, you know, car, LDL you call it, and there is a little hole, so it gets stuck in the hole because the inflammation caused that. And then more cars get bumped in there, and then a little cholesterol plaque forms, and we say, oh, you're the bad guy, let's get rid of you. Instead of fixing up the hole and fixing up the endothelium in some special anti-inflammatory ways that we bring in, whether it be, you know, nice turmeric, whether it be, I'm a huge proponent, you know, that anti-inflammatory diet, which has to do with some super greens and literally alkaline diet in its core is anti-inflammatory. It's really simple. Nice water with minerals. You know, let's not drink distilled water. Let's drink water with some minerals that are naturally occurring in nature. So that's easy. Cholesterol will do a whole separate time because it will take a long time to go there. But the sun, check it out right now as we're moving to what supports the heart. Isn't this beautiful? Yeah, so the heart, the sun, the heart, right? Because really this beauty of who we are is our sun. It needs support, and it does get it from fruits and vegetables, from organic fruits and vegetables, because all these flavonoids, these colorful bioflavonoids, the dark blue and red and, you know, orange, and those sweet potatoes and all that, and squashes, the heart loves it. It helps to build it. Yeah. Also, oxygen. We talked about the breath. Let's go back to the heart. The more oxygen we have in our blood, the less the heart has to work in a way. Pretty simple, but easy. And then we bring in these builders, Coenzyme Q10. If I really want to support the heart and I want to do something physical and I want to do that maybe for 6 weeks, I want to give my heart like a heart boost, yeah? Like a heart makeover. I'm going to go on nice clean water drinking regime. I'm gonna really back off to almost a zero if possible with all the stimulants, the caffeine, the chocolate, the Red Bull, any of the other drinks that do that. I'm really gonna slow that down. Here would come any caffeine, so even black tea. Probably maybe stay on 1 or 2 green teas if I really need something with some lemon. That's okay. If I need some replacement, let's give the heart a break just to stop being pushed. Yeah, that's 1. 2, we bring in the nutrients, the colorful bioflavonoids and the alkaline greens. And then 3, we can do things like Coenzyme Q10, 200, 300 milligrams of Coenzyme Q10. Ooh, that heart is gonna love us for that. If we have low energy, we can bring in the building block of ATP, which is our energy molecule that literally is responsible for making the energy in the mitochondria, which the heart, if you think about it, it's working all the time. It needs the brain and the heart, they need most of our energy. So if we can bring the 2 components together, so the Coenzyme Q10 is 1, and then D-Ribose is another one. D-Ribose with Coenzyme Q10 has been actually shown in studies to reverse heart attacks, meaning the wall that is kind of dormant and not alive and not really fully dead, quote unquote. These 2 simple supplements have been able to restore that. So it's like, wow, maybe I'll do a little bit of that. D-Ribose is a powder, can be mixed with water, nice and sweet. 5 grams twice or 3 times a day, at least 200. I would probably shoot for 300, maybe even 400 of Coenzyme Q10, depending what I'm trying to accomplish. Am I trying to support and prevent, or do I have to go actually into the healing mode, right? Because by now something has happened and I gotta be healing. I have high blood pressure, I have chest pains, I have, post heart attack. Then we really gotta go for it. We'll definitely take 400 milligrams of CoQ10. Okay, we can add some turmeric in there. Remember, to get the yellow going within the greens. We can mix it all in a powder. And I wouldn't worry as much about the fish oil in this phase, because actually what is going to help the heart is the idea that we tried to have many years ago before we introduced things like margarine, Crisco, and all those trans fatty acids, which really have created so much damage. But the idea was we're going to go low fat or fat free. Well, the idea somewhere in there was good. What happened with that idea was really disastrous, where we took fat free and we took out the fat out of things that have natural fat, and we basically brought in carbohydrates instead into, like, fat-free yogurt actually has more carbohydrates and more sugars than the regular fat. Same thing with any dairy, the regular fat yogurt. So that idea got kind of distorted along the way. However, the heart, just like the liver, they can take a really good break from especially those unhealthy fats, like anything that is made, that is pre-made, that is packaged, pre-packaged foods, anything that we actually get in the bakery, muffins, you name it. The oil that's being, I'm not even talking about fried foods, right? But those, they get all the un-okay oils. I don't want to call them bad oils, but the body has really hard time with them, and so does the heart, because the heart can use fatty acids as energy. And if it has to use these, broken fatty acids as energy, is really struggling. So we're better off getting rid of those. Literally just clean up our diet. Any oil that is like sunflower oil, corn oil, even avocado oil, like you name it, needs to come out. And if we can take a break and do a little bit of a deeper cleanup, if we're up for it, we take break on all the oils. We take break on the fats from the meats, from the dairy, less nuts, and we just stick maybe with avocado or so, like avocado actually as a fruit instead of avocado oil. So that will really help our heart. It's like a heart reset, a big time. I will kind of leave us with that, because there's so much more I could go into here, but please watch the video on the heart. And it's just so dear to my heart, because I do talk there about the capacity of our heart to heal when we not only support it physically, but when we allow the heart to literally open up, where instead of the anxiety and the fear of the world that is squeezing onto us, we can build our energy of love and compassion from the inside out, which means we do need to have that for ourselves first before we can really move it out into the world.